What's up, sports fans? This is the Lucas Ross Sports Channel, and it's time to give you another game preview / game prediction for the 2023 college football season. Our next game preview / game prediction will be Week 8's matchup between the Tennessee Volunteers and the Alabama Crimson Tide, also known as the third Saturday of October. Big time game coming up here in the SEC this weekend. A lot of storylines going into this game, and also a lot of history of the rivalry here between Tennessee and Alabama. Alabama leads this series 58-39. They have dominated the later years, but last year Tennessee ended a 15-game losing streak to Alabama. But Tennessee this year is heading on the road in Tuscaloosa. They have not beaten Alabama in Tuscaloosa in like 20 years. They finally end that streak coming up this weekend? We'll find out, as we're going to give you a game preview / game prediction on this game. And we're also going to give you the stat comparisons here between these two teams. We're going to give you the game summary of both of these teams as well, what time the game will be, and also what channel the game it will be on, and also who the favorite going into the game will be coming up this weekend. And then we'll also give you the previous game result matchups here for both of these teams, and then we'll also give you a prediction at the end of this video of how the game will go down. So let's get right into it here with my game preview / game prediction here between Tennessee and Alabama, the third Saturday of October coming up this weekend here in the 2023 college football season. And we'll start with the stat comparisons here between these two teams. Tennessee comes in with a record of 5-1. They're averaging about 33.5 points per game this year. 443.8 yards per total yards this year on the offensive side of the football. Tennessee's offense not very as explosive as it was last year, but this is still a really good offensive team, no doubt about it. Obviously, in the first 3 years under Josh Heupel, the offense continues to just be very explosive. Passing yard numbers, 212.5 yards per passing. Joe Milton's got about 10 touchdown passes on the year and 4 interceptions. He's been kind of having an up and down year. I think he's getting better each and every single game as a quarterback. And then you look at the rushing yards. I think Tennessee is probably first in the SEC at running the football this year. As you look at that rushing yard number, about 231.3 yards per rushing this year. Jalen Wright is the leading rusher this year for Tennessee, even though he's only got 1 touchdown on the year. And then offensively in the rankings, 31st on offense. So this is still a really good offensive team here for Tennessee. It's not the same offense as it was last year, but this is still a really good top 35 offense. And then you look at the defensive ranking. I think that defense has been a lot better than it was last year for Tennessee. They're 17th on defense, so that's been the big improvement from this Tennessee team this year. And then you look at Alabama's stats. They're coming in with a record of 6-1, averaging about 30.1 points per game. Then you look at the total yards per game. Not really good for Alabama. The offense has kind of struggled this year for Alabama, 367.9 yards per total yards this year for Alabama. Passing yards, 219.4 yards per passing, so both of these teams are pretty similar in the passing game. Jalen Milroe's got about 11 touchdowns on the year and 4 interceptions. So yeah, he's been kind of having an up and down year as well. Same thing with Joe Milton. Rushing yards, Alabama's been really struggling at running the football this year. That's been the biggest weakness about this Alabama team at running the football this year, averaging about 148.4 yards per rushing this year on the ground. So yeah, Tennessee has a big advantage there in the stat comparisons and the rushing yards. And again, this offense just has not been clicking in for Alabama this year, about 86 on offense. So yeah, Alabama not so good on offense this year, but the defense continues to be a really big thing for this Alabama team. Alabama's always had a really good defense under the Nick Saban era. Defensively in the rankings, 15th on offense, so similar to Tennessee's ranking, about 17th. So both of these teams are ranked in the top 20 on defense. But stat comparison-wise, Tennessee has the advantage in total yards. They have the advantage in the rushing yards, and then obviously in the offensive ranking. But both of these teams are pretty even on the defensive side of the football. So these are the stat comparisons here between Tennessee and Alabama heading into their matchup this upcoming weekend, and again throughout the 2023 college football season. Let's now get into the game summary here for both of these teams. So Tennessee and Alabama, this is a top 25 matchup. This game will be at 3:30 Eastern time this Saturday on CBS. Alabama has home field advantage going into the game this weekend. And Alabama's favored by 8.5, which is a really big spread, I believe, for this team. And then you look at the over and under is at 47. So this year they're kind of predicting a low-scoring type game. Last year was a very high-scoring game. Again, Tennessee won last year 52-49 by a game-winning field goal. This game will be on the same coverage as it was last year on the TV channel. Then, of course, it will be the same time as it was last year as well. Again, both teams ranked in the top 25. And according to the FBI, Alabama has a big favorite in this game. The FBI is giving them a big percentage here in this game, about 76.3% chance to beat Tennessee. And then for Tennessee, about 23.7% chance to beat Alabama, which really doesn't make any sense. I think Tennessee has a really good opportunity to upset Alabama this weekend, just based off of what we've seen from Alabama this year. They haven't really looked good at times. Sometimes they've been really good, but the defense has been really good for Alabama. But both of these teams, they've both been kind of sluggish on the offensive side of the football, but I think Tennessee has the more better offense going into this game against Alabama. Again, Tennessee has one loss on the year to Florida, and then Alabama has a loss to Texas. We'll talk about the game, previous game results in just a minute. But again, this game will be at 3:30 Eastern Time on CBS in Tuscaloosa. And again, when you think about it, Tennessee has not defeated Alabama in Tuscaloosa on the road in like 20 years. But again, the Crimson Tide are favored in this game by 8.5. I think this game is going to be a really lot closer than that number. And also the over and under is at 47. I do agree with the over and under. I think this will be a low-scoring type game this year than it was last year. Obviously, the game last year was a high-scoring game. But this year, I think it's going to be a lower scoring type game than it was last year. So this game's at 3:30 Eastern Time on CBS. That is the game summary here between Tennessee and Alabama. Let's now go into the previous game results here from the 2023 season. Again, we're looking at the past 5 game results here for both of these teams. Tennessee comes in with a record of 5-1. They won against Austin Peay on September the 9th, 30-13. They were kind of flat in that game against a non-conference team in Austin Peay. They lost their first game on the road at Florida on September the 16th, 29-16. So yeah, they were kind of sluggish in that game on the offensive side of the football. The defense could not stop the run against Florida and everything. Then they defeated a UTSA team, a Group of 5 team, 45-14 on September the 23rd. Then they got their first SEC conference win against the Gamecocks of South Carolina, September the 30th, 41-20. So a big win there for Tennessee. Then they had a bye week on October the 7th. Then they come out of the bye week with a win over Texas A&M this past weekend at home, 20-13. It wasn't the best game that Tennessee played, but the defense played really well. I thought the defense played their best game of the season in that one. And then you look at Alabama, their previous game results are coming in with a record of 6-1. Their only loss coming to Texas in that game in week number 2 on September the 9th. But again, we're looking at the past 5 game results here for both of these teams. They defeated South Florida, 17-7 in that game on September the 16th. The quarterback position had a really tough time in that game. They went with 2 different quarterbacks in this game. So yeah, it was a really poor performance for Alabama. But they defeated Ole Miss on September the 23rd, 24-10. The defense played really well in that game. Then they defeated Mississippi State 40-17 on September the 30th. So that was a big win there. I thought the offense was really good in that game. That's been their best offensive performance so far this year. And then they defeated Texas A&M on the road on October the 7th, 26-20. And then October the 14th, this past weekend, they had a close win against Arkansas, 24-21. So Tennessee's on a 3-game winning streak after that Florida loss. And then Alabama's kind of won every single game ever since that Texas loss. So both of these teams are on winning streaks ever since their first losses of the season. And again, both of these teams had some similar games against Texas A&M. They're both coming off those wins against Texas A&M. Again, really close games in that one. Tennessee with a 7-point win, and then Alabama with a 6-point win. Both of their defenses played pretty well against the Texas A&M offense. So these are the past 5 game results here for Tennessee and Alabama heading into their game this weekend. Let's now get into the prediction here for this game. So again, this is the 3rd Saturday in October, Tennessee versus Alabama, SEC East versus SEC West showdown. It's not really going to matter in their East Division and also their West Division matchup, but this is a game that's really, really important for both of these teams. I mean, obviously, both teams are kind of battling for a college football playoff spot. I mean, both of these teams, one of these teams is going to lose their second game of the season. How I think the game's going to go down, like I said, to the over and under, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game this year. I don't think it's kind of similar to last year. Both of these teams have different quarterbacks. Tennessee has the more experience at the running back position. I think defensively, though, Alabama has the advantage there. They're better on defense than Tennessee, but both of these teams are pretty even on the defensive side of the football. If Tennessee can score points early in this game, they have a really good chance to knock off Alabama, but I think Alabama is going to stop the Tennessee defense this year. I think they'll be ready for the hurry-up offense this time, but this is a game that's going to be a low scoring in the first half. I think Alabama's probably up by 3 in the first half. Maybe it's a field goal battle in the first half, like it's like a special teams battle. And then the second half, I think both offenses start to get going. What I think is going to change in this game is either, a game-winning field goal or maybe a turnover probably changes the game. Maybe a, fourth down, turnover on downs changes the game as well. End of the day, though, it comes down to home field advantage for me. I'm going to say that Alabama wins this game in a close one over Tennessee. I think they take home the win here 27-24 and also keep that winning streak at home alive against Tennessee as well. But again, this is a tough one to call. I mean, it just goes down to the home field advantage and also the defense. I think it favors Alabama. I think their defense makes a huge stop at the end of the day, and also I think maybe a late touchdown could probably change the game as well. But I do like Alabama in this game to get revenge on Tennessee after losing to them last year. But again, this is a lower scoring game than it was last year, and it's always a very competitive game when these two teams step out on the field. But again, my final score prediction is Alabama defeating Tennessee 27-24 here in the third Saturday of October. And also, if they win this game, that's their 59th win against this Tennessee team in the history of the rivalry. So that is my official prediction here for this game between Tennessee and Alabama in week number 8 of the 2023 college football season. Let me guys know what you think about this game. Who do you think wins it here? Give me your final score predictions down in the comments below. And again, who you think wins this game, Tennessee or Alabama, coming up in week number 8 of the 2023 college football season. Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned here for more sports content videos on my Lucas Ross Sports channel.